Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, Mila carried out her promise to lead our tribe over to the jungle island, though whether or not that was a good decision on her part has yet to be seen. There are just so many jungle trees here, and I think that's what has me the most worried about this place. I guess this means that apes could literally spawn from every single direction. We are literally going to be surrounded by enemies before long, with nowhere for our tribe to run away and hide. They figure their safest bet would be to go toward this acorn tree, and we're hoping that it's going to act as the little safe haven that it so often was for our old jungle families. It looks like we have another one back here too, so we'll have to keep that in mind as we make our way toward these ports. At the very least, this will offer us a good chance to gather up more food too, because we know there will be plenty of acorns waiting for us there. This one is even right by the stream, so maybe we'll be able to find some fish. But first, we're going to need to get through this carnivorous plant. We do have a little bit of danger waiting on our shores. Now, we could gather food from this one too, so I think we're probably going to essentially sacrifice one of our creatures for the job. I hate to say sacrifice because it's not as if we're going to let them get eaten. Mila can definitely swoop in and save the day, but first we have to find a creature foolish enough to stumble their way directly into danger. I wonder if Mirage, since she is looking after so many kids right now, might be trying to find some extra food of her own. And with her big nose, she might notice that plant before anybody else. So since our tribe doesn't know how dangerous the jungle plants can be, maybe she would think there's no harm in investigating, but she will very quickly find that nothing is to be trusted in the jungle. So now Mila can pounce in there, if she can make her way through all of this grass, of course. Maybe Peanut can clear out a little bit for her. The thicker jungle grass we can't actually move through until we do pick it up, so we're going to have to keep that in mind too. That might end up blocking some of our escape routes if we're not careful. But thankfully, her double claws provides just enough power to crack those carnivorous plants open, so Mirage might be a little bit stunned, but at least she's safe now. And it looks like there aren't any fruits inside this one for her to harvest, but she can at least clear out the grass. That way we'll be able to see it in the future, so we shouldn't get surprised again. Let's have her sniff around though, just in case. Now she's going to be a little bit more cautious, of course, and she's going to make sure that the babies aren't going to stumble their way into danger. Thankfully, Amanita was close enough by to watch, so she at least knows firsthand the wrath of the carnivorous plants. We'll have her go ahead and clear out some of the old nests for us, just do a little bit of maintenance, because I don't think we're going to stay here for very long. It's far too close to those jungle trees for comfort. Despite all of the healing fruits we have around here, we don't want to risk our babies. One hit from the apes and they'll be done. I did notice that we had some shells off in this direction though. It looks like we can smell them in the tide pools. So let's have Carnelia and Rare make their way over toward this side of the island, just to see what they can discover together. They were already doing a little bit of extra work for the tribe, trying to find a way to bring their shamans into the sea, and they have made an excellent breakthrough together. So I'm sure they're considering all of these shells to be an offering from the Balance Sisters, and hopefully the Bandit Brothers aren't going to sweep them away before we can get our hands on them. I do know that Peanut should be able to scoot on over here though, and pick up some of those delicious berries for us, especially before the bunnies start to spawn in this direction, because I know we have one hopping over on the right side of the island. We'll want to see if any of our creatures can make their way over there to pick it off, but for now, let's have Serenade settle down between the babies. She can be their little babysitter until Mirage gets back. It looks like our little swamp flower may have actually lost some energy too. Oh, that's interesting. And so is Emerald. So I guess the rainforest is a little bit harder for our toxic-bodied creatures to live in than we thought. Maybe we'll need to breathe those big ears into their line to try to help combat that. Cyriana had an interesting introduction to our tribe anyway, so as they make their way toward those roots, maybe it's finally time that she shares her story with her new friends. Her bright violet fur reminds me of some sort of royalty. So I wonder if perhaps she had some grand role to play in her old family in the swamps, but she decided to run away from those responsibilities by joining with our tribe. She stumbled into our hearts right as we were getting ready to leave, and I'm sure that's because she noticed that we had an opening in our migration. So hopefully our little swamp princess, our little swamp flower, will be able to find her own in this very harsh landscape. We do have some more food off in this direction too, so that's always a good sign. She can scoop up some of those berries after we skip the day, and cross our fingers yet again that we're not going to see any apes spawning just yet. I don't think we're ready to take them on, though I am curious to see if the distasteful appearance is going to be enough to maybe deter some of the apes. So maybe she can put some of her old diplomacy skills to the test and carve out alliances with the predators. But the berries are a delightfully sweet little treat that I know they're going to enjoy. They can share them together as a way to cool down. And likewise, Carnelia, it looks like you may have picked up a little leech, but thankfully our shells are still safe and secure in the tide pools. So I guess that must be a little gift from the Balance Sisters after all. We even have more areas to potentially dig up worms. Oh my goodness, and those fish! Oh, this little piranha fish. The very same ones that took apart your father. They followed you all the way to the jungle. But with Rare's help, they have nothing to gain from you. So hopefully they'll swim back into the deepest parts of the ocean and leave our tribe alone. Now, I think Peanut is starting to realize that this might be his last chance to tell Mila how he feels, with all of the chaos surrounding their arrival, especially regarding that carnivorous plant. He knows there's a chance that they might not even live to see the next day. So he'll explain how grateful he has always felt for her company, especially when they were both just tiny little children under the skeleton tree, and when she was the only creature in the tribe who was willing to stand by his side. So that's why he's tried to do the same for her for so many days now. And I think we're going to use this opportunity, with this permanent nest right next to a berry bush, to start a little family between Mila and Peanut. We will absolutely want to place the stinky tail into her genetics, because that's one trait we can't risk losing. And then the stripes to connect their babies to Adam, and to help them hide away in the tall grass. Along with the runner's leg, I suppose? Or should we go with the velvet paw? It doesn't give them a boost in speed, but it would help them stay quiet in the jungle grasses too, just in case we have more apes knocking on our door. Now, Peanut does have one of the velvet paws already, so hopefully that'll help his children be just as stealthy as he is. We'll have Mila clear out the area around her nest, but not the grass right on top of it, because we'll want to use that for the camouflage. And then on the next turn, as soon as they're absolutely certain that we won't have apes barreling out from the darkness, we'll use that as the test, I suppose. The test to see if her ancestors believe that she's ready to start a family of her own. As Mirage continues to sniff around in the tall grass to see if it's safe to bring the babies up toward the tree. Oh, we have some bunnies out there. Excellent, so she can teach them how to hunt. And we have some friendlier smelling plants out this way too. Ones that we should actually be able to harvest from. So it looks like you may have actually hit the gold mine out here, and we'll have to let Serenade know soon. I'm sure the little babies are just as eager to get out and explore, especially Amanita and Phantom, the two little jungle orphans of the tribe. I suppose we'll give Phantom the pink gems just like his mother, And then for Goldenheart, she of course is going to carry the water healing gems like Carnelia. They come from very different backgrounds, but I'm sure this little trio is going to become inseparable. They're probably going to get into quite a bit of trouble out here on their own. Amanita can make her way a bit further away from the adults, just because she does have her second gem. So let's bring her in this direction, so she might be able to investigate the carnivorous plant, the very same one that munched on her guardian before. So hopefully she'll know better than to fall victim to the plants in the future. But with the babies close to Serenade, we should be ready to skip the turn and see if hopefully we'll have time to start a family between Peanut and Mila. It seems as if your ancestors are truly happy with your decision. What with this rainfall, which means you have plenty of berries to scoop up for your babies. Yeah, look at all the food we have out here now. We have bunnies, we have moles, and not a single ape in sight. So let's have Mila go ahead and breed with Peanut, and we'll see what sort of little family they can grow together. I guess we'll want to make sure that we're picking from our other berry bushes first, since we do have plenty of bunnies in the grass. You are not a bunny, little one, though you certainly look like one with all that white fur. Oh, I guess our swamp flower has attracted the attention of a wandering creature. Very, very interesting. I suppose we could spare you a little bit of extra food to join our royal court, since your stinky tail will be super helpful over here. And those velvet paws too. Little Kuro was probably hiding in the grass for quite some time, watching from the darkness as our tribe descended upon his home. But he just couldn't resist coming over here to meet Syriana. So as he shares all of his berries with the ladies, maybe we can consider bringing the children over toward Mirage now. Now that they have their second gems, they should be ready to do a little bit more exploring of their own. And I'm sure they would be very, very eager to see if they can get their hands on some of those bunnies. Oh no, I think they're already stealing your berries, Mirage. Okay, you better pick up what you can, so you can leave the hunting to some more capable claws. Amanita should be able to take them down in one swipe, whereas some of our other weaker creatures might have trouble pinning them down. Phantom, on the other hand, while he won't be very good at hunting, is going to be able to keep up with them quite easily. He can run very, very far thanks to his lean body, and those bunnies won't even notice him while he's zipping around the grass. And with the babies back under the guidance of their guardian, I think Serenade would probably look toward finding her sister again. Her sister, her friend, and this brand new creature who I'm sure she will be very excited to meet. We'll go ahead and connect these two territories, so it'll be a little bit easier for us to potentially escape just in case anything does decide to spawn there. Then we can have Peanut grab some more of the berries, and then scoot his way over here, so we can light up more of the area for Mila and their baby. And now we even have some little fishies in the tide pool too, so we'll scoot Carnelia over in this direction. Or maybe not. Well, if they decide to escape, we should be able to pick them up quite easily. I guess fishing wasn't really her strong suit. She never did spend too much time hunting on our previous island, so it makes sense that she would enjoy the stationary shells a bit more. She's not used to chasing down her prey. But with that, I believe we should be ready to skip the day and see what our very next bluebird heir is going to look like. Oh my goodness, a little ball of sunshine. He looks so much like his father. That is absolutely adorable, but I do want to check. Just check and see if this one is also as hostile as the last one was. And unfortunately it is. So Mila is going to have to keep a very close watch over her newest little baby. We can't risk him stumbling into its trap. Now, since he does look so much like his father, maybe we should give him a name to go along with his family's theme. One of you actually suggested the name Chipper for a Peanut when we were looking for a name for him. And since this baby does look like a little ball of sunshine, I feel like that would be particularly fitting. So while we do have a new danger to take care of over here, let's just make sure the apes haven't spawned in the meantime. They've been very, very quiet lately, which has me a little bit nervous. I mean, they must be spawning out there somewhere, but there's no need for us to tempt fate. And if our ancestors are protecting us from the wrath of the apes, then we will certainly take it. So let's go ahead and breed Peanut and Mila again. We'll settle down another nest over here, and then maybe have Peanut scoot to the side so we can scoop up some more berries. That way we're moving their home farther away from that nasty plant. And now our little bandits can go to town, completely looting every last bit of food from these bushes, from all of our carnivorous plants in this direction. I suppose Amanita should probably be the first one to crack this open, since she does know them so well. Carnelia should be able to gather up quite a bit of food from here too. Oh my goodness! Was this little piranha swimming upstream to get to our creatures? Oh, they are relentless. They're just hovering around here, waiting for their moment to strike. We're going to have to be super, super careful that we don't let our bleeding creatures get too close to the shore, because I have a feeling they would try to nibble on their toes if they could get away with it. The fact that Golden Paw is lagging a little bit behind makes me think that she's probably the more cautious member of the group. She would be the voice of reason, maybe, when our trio thinks they can just charge straight off into the jungle grass. She'll be the tiny voice in their shadow, reminding them of all of the dangers that could be waiting in their path. Let's see if Mirage and Phantom can find any food up here, though. It looks like we do have a couple of roots in this direction, so we'll set up Mirage for the next turn, where she has a little bit of energy left. There we go. She might even be able to scoot her way to the berry bush. There's quite a bit more food here than I was expecting. Mila really lucked out in that regard, since the food was kind of our biggest concern at the time. We have way more food here than we ever did in the swamps. So maybe that means this would even be a good place for us to set up our new royal court. Now, Kuro actually does have the toxic body in his inactive traits, so that means that we could potentially see more violet babies out of these two. The one problem is their eyesight is actually really, really bad. So we'll want to make sure that we place the normal eyes into both of their mutation menus. And Cyriana is going to need a little boost in fertility too, because as it is right now, hers is pretty bad. Yeah, that's why we're going to want to start on their family as soon as possible, because I have a feeling it's going to take quite a few tries. I think we'll also place the no albinism trait into Kuro's mutation menu, assuming this version of the game works like the previous ones. The albinism trait would basically undo all of the camouflage skills that our babies would have. So if we can keep it off of them in the jungle biome, that would probably be for the best. Now Emerald, let's see if you can find any tasty little snacks to bring back to your family. We have a little root out here, and she has also unearthed a bunny. So hopefully one of our stronger creatures will be able to take that one down. Let's go ahead and see if we have any luck with our first little baby in the nest. Oh my goodness! He doesn't have the toxic body, and yet he still almost has like a purple or a pinkish hue to his fur. I mean, honestly, he does look like a royal little child, just from the crown of ram horns and the very, very interesting color that he's wearing. Like a perfect mix between Cyriana's purple fur and Kuro's white fur. So I think we might name this little one Hibiscus, after a very beautiful type of flower. So Cyriana's royal court might be turning into a little bit more of a royal garden now. But it looks as if, with the absence of the rain, the temperature might be rising once again in the rainforest. So we're going to have to make sure that we pick up more of those berries so our poor little babies don't wilt in the heat. We'll breed these two again, but we'll wait for them to have their next baby until we have a little bit more food inside our pockets. That'll just be a reassurance in case something terrible happens and we end up losing Kuro to the apes. Now our berries may have been completely demolished by the bunnies over here, But at least Goldenheart can still help us out with all of those acorns. And at least the bunnies don't seem too interested in the fruits inside the carnivorous plants. Probably because they know they would have no chance of escape if they did get munched on. Now, unfortunately, this is Carnelia's very final day, but she made so many amazing breakthroughs with Rare that I'm sure her legacy is going to live on well. Hopefully, Goldenheart will be able to find a way to pull that water body out of her traits and learn the ways of the water shaman. With the stream so close by, this might even be the perfect place for her to investigate the water. Somewhere calm and very far away from the leeches in the ocean, and right next to the food the acorns will provide. And now, finally, we have the next little royal baby to meet, who it seems as if might actually have the stripes this time. Oh, she actually looks quite a bit like her mother instead. She does unfortunately have the no paw, but I love those sunny little stripes in her fur. So this entire family is turning out to be very vivid and colorful, very bright and sunny, and I'm sure that is in great part thanks to Peanut's influence. So in the next episode, we'll have to see if we can have a few more royal babies before they end up passing away. Somebody to hopefully take on the bluebird feathers next, because their journey is going to be even tougher than Mila's was. They have to somehow claw their way through these jungles or down these shores until they get all the way over to these ports with the bones. And I'm starting to think that this might be another rainforest, because the tiles look like they're from the jungle, despite that there's no debris, just a whole lot of skeletons, which means our next babies are going to have an even tougher adventure in their future. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!